All right, what is up, everyone? It is Monday night. That means it's time for the Living Force. So happy that you're here joining us to talk all about Star Wars toys tonight. Is this just an excuse for me to talk about my Funkos? Maybe, but it's also time for me to talk about my lightsabers and also for everyone to talk about the history of Star Wars toys. We got news, we got enjoyment, and we got Wes giving us a hi. What is up, everyone? Welcome into the Living Force, a Utini Network podcast. I am one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me tonight is a glorious crew of awesome people that aren't Corey. First of all, we have off 4 hours of sleep and a full shift, but he is glowing with insomnia. Dr. Charles Hankel. Hey, dude.
Hello. Is it insomnia? Am I just that pale? Is it the awesome lighting in this room? I don't know. Maybe all three of them, but I'm just still trying to recover from that high.
It was, you know what, listeners, that
Epic.
was dared to me. If you only listen to our audio show, you don't get my little pre-intros on the video. I was dared to do a hiya, and I did it. I was dared by none other though than Wes Jenkins. Look at Wes. What?
Hello,
Sir.
everyone.
Wow,
Good to see
our
you.
audio fans, our the Mandalorian himself is joining us. Oh, he took it off.
Took it
I
off.
took it off. Can you believe I took it off in the first scene? How terrible of me.
You had one rule, man.
Yeah, so I look a little different now. I shaved part of the hair off my face. So I had to go be suit worthy at work today to hopefully get a new work. So good luck for me.
You look reminiscent of Din Djarin. You got a little
You
Din Djarin
do.
going on.
Oh, thank you, boys.
Also, that's the most American thing ever. Well, I had to go to work to get a different work by doing this work. But you know who's doing the most work? Is our guest host for the second week in a row, Timothy Guthrie.
I had a lightsaber malfunction.
Yes!
That's unfortunate.
Hey, man, it happens to
There's
everyone. Come on.
medication for that.
It does. It does. Thanks for having me back.
Well, unlike Wes today, maybe you nailed your work last week, and we all decided it was good enough, and also you were free, so we appreciate you.
Yep.
And also hello to everyone else in the chat joining us live. Again, if you're an audio listener, we're live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Utini YouTube channel. And tonight we are talking about Star Wars toys, a little bit of history, show off some of our favorites, and theorize what we'd like to see in the future. But before we get to all of that goodness, we have a couple updates we want to give. For our Patreon fans and viewers and supporters, thank you. We love you. A reminder that almost 1 month from tonight, well, I guess a month and a week, we'll be doing our Drunk Trivia Night, August 20th. The estimable, I guess that's what I want, estimable Emma Park will be moderating. The four of us, well, Corey, not Timothy. I love you, dude, but you're not on the list this time.
I get it.
Having a great Patreon event. So you do have about 5 weeks to join Patreon to join us there. But, Charles, we have what we missed last week in a Patron of the Week.
We do have a patron of the week. The patron of the week this week is Cohen. And Cohen says, hello there. My name is Cohen, probably better known as Obi-Wan Cohen-Obi in the Discord, and I'm from the Netherlands. I've been into Star Wars pretty much my whole life. I remember when I was a young kid, I saw a bit of the throne room scene from RTJ on the big old TV in my room when I was supposed to be sleeping. Good. The Emperor and Vader were pretty scary in my opinion. Vader with the breathing apparatus, the wrinkly old man who kept telling Luke to strike me down. Who does that? Then, a few years later, when DVDs became a thing, a friend of my mother lent us a whole load of them, among which were the prequels. I gave those a shot, and well, my life has never been the same since. I was hooked. It went so far, my dad started making lightsaber noises when he came home from work and saw me in front of the TV as always. After that, I played the RTS Game Boy Advance game. That one was so good. Started buying toys, which I don't own anymore. I gave them away or something. Idiot. I had so many. I have read Star Wars books in the past, but not that many. If I recall correctly, it's only been the Darth Bane trilogy and Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void, and I loved those. But for someone who's a sucker for chronology stuff, it was all super overwhelming, and I gave up. But then the sequel trilogy was announced. I absolutely love The Force Awakens, but TLJ and Tross I had mixed feelings about. I didn't do much with Star Wars after that until The Mandalorian. That show sparked my love for the franchise all over again and made me give the books another go. So at the beginning of this year, I started looking around on the internet for a timeline and ended up on Reddit. There, I found quite a few of those, but they all weren't really clear to me. Someone in the comments said they worked at Utini, so I looked that up and I loved what I found. Since then, I've read more books than I ever have in this short a time, learned a lot, and found an amazing community. With all I got, it was an easy decision to become a patron, something I never thought about doing anywhere else, by the way. The content is absolutely worth it.
Aww.
As for my favorite Star Wars story, my favorite movies are Empire and Rogue One, but I think my favorite story is Anakin's transition to Vader. To this day, even after seeing those movies so many times, I still feel weird looking at Vader, knowing who's inside the suit. I don't know why. As for my question for the hosts, imagine you went to Oto Gunga with Jar Jar instead of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon in The Phantom Menace for some unexplainable reason and need to get out. You can't use a Jedi mind trick or something like that to get Boss Nass to give you help doing this. How are you going to get to Theed anyway?
Wow.
Oh man.
What a specific. Well, first of all,
It is
thank
very
you.
specific.
Love that story. Love the support.
Yeah, and Cohen's always very active in the chat. I haven't seen his
Absolutely.
name yet tonight, but normally here, very active. Love to hear from him.
Absolutely. All right, so a thought experiment question, boys. We're in Otagunga. How do we get out of there?
I know what I'm going to do.
Go.
All right. This feels like something from the High Republic. Okay. I'm not going to say any spoilery things, but there are Jedi who do some unconventional things in those books. I am going to use the Force to create a bubble of oxygen around me. And within that bubble, I will then float to the surface.
I like it.
And then I'll catch a
Respectable.
cab.
Yeah.
Then I'll catch a cab. Because I got to get all the way to Theed.
All right. I think I will go to Boss Nass and be like, yo, Big N. What up? We're close. In my scenario, we're really tight. Like, we went to grade school together. And I'll be like, hey, man, listen, this Jar Jar guy, you want to kill him. Totally. Who doesn't? However, you know who would do a great job at that? Those masochists up in Theed. Dude, here's the deal. You give him over to me because, again, we're super tight. I will take him to Theed, and I will take pictures of what they're going to do to him for you, and then I'll, like, airdrop them to you to show you how much better it is there.
Man, Eric,
and then I'll
that's
also
really
get those,
long,
like...
Eric.
Oh, yeah. But also... Last thing, Theed, I don't know if you know, it's very popular for its bagels, so I'll get those bagels he likes from Theed and bring them back to Otagunga.
Eric, I love your answer, but you were supposed to make something up, not recite what happens in the
Ah,
Phantom
dang
Menace.
it! I'm sorry, spoilers for the Phantom Menace if you haven't listened to our commentary, which is also on Patreon.
Yeah. Well, I would try to impress Boss Nass with my own type of cheek shake and slobber all over the place. So I would go right up next to him and give him a little elbow to the side and just say, hey. What do you think about that, Big N?
Oh man, he'd so get it. He loves that. He wants everyone to do that, but it just doesn't catch on.
Timothy,
All right,
it's
Tim, what do you
be
got?
hard to beat.
I know it is. I think I'm gonna have to do the classic, a classic Han move, right? I think I'm gonna have to sit the guards down for some good old fashioned sabacc.
Ooh, sure.
And I have fairly good success with playing games in the past of that nature. So I'm gonna risk it all. I'm gonna go for it. And I'm
All
gonna
right.
We're going to gamble our way out of here. I like it.
I'm gonna yep.
Yeah. Yeah, what? What do you bet? Rusa bet Rusa ship against Misa ship.
Jesus,
Oh, what do
Eric,
you-
that's really good.
Way too good.
Oh, well, go
Sure.
thank
Chirp,
you for
sorry.
that
Chirp
question.
said he's just gonna befriend one of the giant goober fish and ride them to Theed.
Yes, that
that.
would
You know
work.
what? Make friends with fish. Fish are friends, not food. We know this.
It's right there.
Hashtag Disney chills. So, Cohen, thank you for the Patreon support. Thank you for the question. And of course, if you are a supporter over at patreon.com/Utini, keep an eye out because Tim may be sending you an email for how you can be the next patron of the week or however you do it. I'm not sure how that process works. It just shows up on the outline. I assume it's magic. And he's not going to say I'm wrong. I love that. All right. Next
You're not
up,
wrong.
we have our Star Wars Weekly Roundup. Hit the graphic.
It's the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
Look at that. It's so cool. It's so cool. I love it a lot. Welcome. This week on our Star Wars Weekly Roundup, we have a couple announcements we want to catch you all up on in the world of Star Wars books. First, we have a couple congratulations to send out. The New York Times bestseller list was announced this week, as it is every week. But this week, it was a little more special because both The Rising Storm and Race to Crash Point Tower debuted in the top 10 on the New York Times bestseller list. That's right, we got Rising Storm coming in at number 9 on the adult list, and for Kevin Scott, number 5 in the UK Sunday Times. Congratulations. And Daniel Jose Older came in at 4th on the children's literature list. We have photographic evidence we can show the people
We
about
sure
our.
do.
Look at these accomplishments. Look at
There it
that,
is.
number 9.
In print.
Wow. Also, I love that description. In this installment of the High Republic series, Markion Rowe sows chaos at the Republic Fair. I mean, yeah.
Yep.
That's about it.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Look at that. Number 9. And then, of course, Race Crash My Tower. Number 4. That's
So
really
cool.
impressive
Yeah, no
for like
kidding.
all of children's literature. And I don't know if you guys saw, Daniel Jose Older did post. He has now been a New York Times bestseller, I think, on adult, middle grade, and YA, like all the lists for various projects.
The trifecta.
He's the king.
Yeah. Dude's an absolute king. So congratulations. And to all of you who, like, again, I have my other various High Republic covers here. I know a bunch of us have been buying all kinds of copies. This is what happens. You know, we support these books. We love these books. They get on the lists and then they make more of them. You know, they don't, let's be honest, they don't make these books just because they love us. They do. They do. Right? But it's money. It's only money. Right? So
Let's keep that
Well done,
momentum
everyone.
going for next week. Let's see if they get any higher.
I would love it. Keep buying them. Do you have a friend who doesn't have this? Yes, you do. Of course. Buy them 4 copies of The Rising Storm so they can have all the cool versions. So well done, everyone. Another thing I want to tell you all about is an announcement we got last week about Ronin, which is the not Shadows of the Empire, my gosh, the Star Wars Visions tie-in novel that is coming out by Emma Miko Candon. Y'all, look at this cover.
It's a saber. That is so cool.
Yeah. Wes, tell the people what we're looking at here.
All right. So this is a Star Wars book cover. It has a Ronin of a kind of like a Japanese writing on the right side, and then it looks like a samurai of sorts, and in all black, and has a red katana-esque lightsaber. He's pulled it, and he has a long sheath to it. It's super cool looking.
I love that fact because, like, when it's sheathed, isn't it just off and like just the handle would click into the sheath? But I
Right.
don't care. I love it.
Well, maybe it's used for 2 different things.
Maybe it is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe he carries his lunch in there. We don't know.
Yeah. We don't know. And I love because Emma was talking a lot about that on Twitter when this came out. Obviously, there was a huge stir. There was a big discussion in our Discord about it as well. And I believe they said that the sheath saber, it's one of the things, like, read the book, you'll see. And a lot of people were like, is this canon? Is it not? And Tom, specifically from Del Rey, was like, read the book. It tells you all about it, which I really love. And we also got a full synopsis talking about this because this is going to expand on the world of the Duel short from Visions. Tim, as our guest, would you mind reading out this synopsis to people that are listening?
I would love to if I didn't click off of the show notes by
You got it.
accident.
You got it, man. Don't
I
mess
do
up the
got
second
it.
interview.
I know. All right. The Jedi are the most loyal servants of the Empire. 2 decades ago, Jedi clans clashed in service to feuding lords. Sickened by this endless cycle, a sect of Jedi rebelled, seeking to control their own destiny and claim power in service of no master. They called themselves Sith. The Sith rebellion failed, succumbing to infighting and betrayal, and the once rival lords unified to create an empire. But even an empire at peace is not free from violence. Far on the edge of the Outer Rim, one former Sith wanders, accompanied only by a faithful droid and the ghost of a less civilized age. He carries a lightsaber, but claims lineage to no Jedi clan and pledges allegiance to no lord. Little is known about him, including his name, for he never speaks of his past nor his regrets. His history is as guarded as the red blade of destruction he carries sheathed at his side.
What a line.
Is
Oh
the-
my God.
Right. As the galaxy's perpetual cycle of violence continues to interrupt his self-imposed exile, and he is forced to duel an enigmatic bandit claiming the title of Sith, it becomes clear that no amount of wandering will ever let him outpace the specters of his former life. Whew. Also, let's just give a brief shout out to Hat Droid.
Yes! Hat
Yep.
Droid is going to be
Because-
in this.
Yes, I believe he is that faithful droid.
I think you're right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. We don't know if Star Wars Visions, all of the shorts are dropping on the same day, or if they're going to be released. I assume because they're shorts, it's all happening on the same day. Is that right?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think they've said formally.
Yeah.
But when they released the titles, they probably would have had dates with them if it was going
That's
to
a
be
good point.
rolled out. So I think
That's a
all at
great
once.
point. And that's in September, and this is October 12th. So we're going to get Visions. We're going to watch the duel, get even more hype because I know I'm hyperbolic on this show on occasion. I will own that. This is one of the best just synopses I've ever read. Like just
Yeah, it's epic.
yeah.
You
Epic's
know-
the word.
You know what it sounds like when it comes to canon and legends to me, though? Like just a good story, and I don't care.
Yep.
That's what
Yeah.
it sounds like.
Yep.
It's more Star Wars. Give it to me, however.
Yeah. And again, and we'll find out because I even in our original press release about it, we wrote like, oh, it's an alternate timeline. And then in the Discord discussions and in Twitter discussions, it's like, well, maybe not. Like there will be an explanation. I'm very excited for it. It looks great. It looks unlike anything we've ever had. I mean, I've never seen anything like Visions nor Ronin. So stoked for that. If you're just listening and you didn't see the cover, check out on utini.com. We got a write-up about it that'll show you the cover. You'll show you the synopsis. And obviously, we will keep you posted as everything comes out. Another thing that we all have to look forward to next week, actually, as of recording, a week from Friday, on July 23rd, San Diego Comic-Con at home will be happening, which, just like last year, San Diego Comic-Con is virtual this year because of COVID dangers and restrictions. And there will be a panel at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, so 4 p.m. real time. If you're Central Time, like me and Wes, at least. Shout out to Central Time.
Shout out to Real Time.
That's right. Hosted by Christina Ariel. This is the High Republic Comic-Con panel. Claudia Gray, Charles Soule, Kevin Scott, Justina Ireland, and Daniel Jose Older, all 5 architects, will be on that panel talking to Christina, discussing the latest books. And, y'all, I wrote this quote down word for word because it said, get a sneak peek at, quote, new reveals and upcoming titles, which makes me think the titles are the books. What are the reveals? Is it the same thing? Do I hope that maybe that means toys? Am I reaching? For it?
Not at
Yes.
all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Probably.
Thank you, Wes. You know what? Central Time only. Wes. Yes.
All right. Eastern Time unite. Let's talk some real specifics. I want to say this to our audience. If you're watching this show live on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast and you've never jumped into our Discord, now is the time. Like events like this blow our Discord up because something's announced. Everyone wants to talk about it. If you don't have someone to talk about it and you're waiting until Monday night to hear what we have to say about it, that's fine. But also you can come in Discord anytime. There are going to be loads of people happy to talk about it.
That's a great point. And a lot of the discussions for everyone that's in Discord, we'll probably try to keep them centralized in the High Republic channel specifically, because obviously we want to keep everyone in the same talk together. So if you haven't joined Discord, as Charles said, a brief reminder of what we said last week, you can join Discord. It's just a chat community. You sign up at utini.com/Discord, get yourself a username. You jump in. There's a bunch of channels where you can just kind of type away like an old school message board, and we will all be freaking out. So this is a week from Friday. It'll be a live stream YouTube show. So if you want to watch along, I know there's probably more official ways, but on Christina Ariel's Twitter, I believe the Del Rey Star Wars Twitter, that's the best way to find the links. And of course, we'll be posting the links in Discord and on our socials as well. So, y'all, just before we round this out, what do you think we're going to get? In the most vague terms, I guess, is this going to be the beginning of phase 2? Or do you think it's wave 3 of phase 1? Let's keep it simple.
I would love some. So we know Tempest Runner's coming out, right? And I think we talked about this a little bit in Discord. I would love to get some ideas as to who that cast is, who that lead voice is going to be.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep. So I don't know. Maybe a closing out of what's happening in 2 and a beginning of 3.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, I'm going to agree. I want that reveal, and I also think you're totally right to close out wave 2 to go into wave 3, because they did say that phase 1 was going to continue to 2022, right? So that makes sense. Wes, Charles, what do you think?
I think we're at least reveal wise, we're gonna get whatever the next like big thing is teased, right? Like if Light of the Jedi was Starlight Beacon and the Rising Storm was the Republic Fair, like
Republic
the next
Fair
thing is gonna be teased to us. I don't know what it's gonna be.
Yeah, I totally agree
the
with that.
Boonta Eve Classic.
Oh, don't
but in the
you-
High Republic.
Oh, right in the feels.
I know, getting that pod racing book you want, buddy.
They're gonna announce a pod racing book with an associated new video game, and it's gonna be great.
Why not give us a new comic series, like a whole new, like
Ooh.
a different
an ongoing.
addition to the High Republic, comic series. So
That'd be cool.
and everybody
Yeah.
that signs up to watch it gets a free copy. Mailed
That's
to
it.
their
Here's
house.
the digital code. It will expire in 5, 4. It's like, oh my
Oh
god.
my god, that'd be so great.
So much anxiety.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. And it's funny because I think Justina Ireland did an AMA on Twitter a couple days ago, and someone asked her like, "What are you working on?" And High Republic wise, and she said, "Currently, I'm writing 2 books." So we know that, and they're not doing more than 1 book per phase. That's insane, right? Or per wave, I would say. It is confusing. Anyone that's confused by wave or phase, yup, I get it. Phases are big, waves are small. But it really kind of cemented the idea that these 5 creators are doing the thing. The High Republic is these 5. Like, we're not going to be swapping out a bunch of people. So I'm excited to see what their projects are. And God, it's over a week away and I'm already excited. So next Friday, we will see you in Discord. We'll see you on Twitter. Cannot wait. And of course, whatever gets announced will be on our new releases page at utini.com. A lot of the website's getting a facelift, so you haven't been there in a while. Go over to Utini. Check out some of the new stuff. I believe our publishing order or our reading order just got revamped. The release schedule is getting revamped. And of course, the next 2 books coming out are Out of the Shadows, The High Republic, July 27th. And as Tim mentioned, Tempest Runner, the audio drama, fully cast, that is starting recording today, July 12th. Fun fact, that's starting, if you read Kevin Scott's newsletter, that is recording today. So they just got a session in. Woo! It's also exciting. Check out our new releases page at Utini. Frank, especially, thank you for keeping that up to date and get those pre-orders in. All right, so going from pre-orders to things you've already ordered and read. Look at that transition. Charles, we got 3 book reviews over at the site that we want to talk about this week.
Yeah, we sure do. And our first one is coming from Ashley B., who read Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, gave it 4 stars, and calls it a fun, character-driven read. Ashley goes on to say, Claudia Gray is my favorite Star Wars author, and for good reason. While this book's a bit slow at the beginning, it really picks up through the middle and end. I'm very much a character person more than an action person, so I really enjoyed this installment of the High Republic. Reith and Affy especially were super amazing, and I'm looking forward to reading about their next adventures. So going back to the beginning times of the High Republic, it feels like just yesterday. This is very much a character-driven novel. We did a lot of talking about it after it came out, and we had similar things to say about it. And Drengir.
Yep.
Drengir. Yes, and of course, if you want more Reith Out of the Shadows, he is on the cover. So, no spoilers, but he's coming back.
All right. I love it. Tim, you want to take review number 2?
I will. So this is done by Lando, faithful reviewer. He reviewed The Courtship of Princess Leia by Dave Wolverton. He gave it 4 stars, and the title is surprisingly wonderful, which I'm looking forward to because I have not read this one. So this book managed to do a lot of great and surprising things, not limited to being my favorite of the very few Legends books I've read. Made Rancors into lovable pets, introduced one of the cooler Force-using groups in both Legends and especially cool in canon, aka the Night Sisters, and turned a story about Princess Leia dating into a super fun adventure. I must say, toxic is not the best color on Han Solo, or anyone for that matter. If this book were written today, Han's use of the gun that makes people do whatever the user asks would be a metaphor for relationship abuse, which is just kind of skimmed over by the end of this book. In that regard, it has kind of aged poorly. However, the unique dynamic between males and females of both the Dathomir witches and the Hapens seems to try to make some kind of feminist statement that kind of gets lost when we are asked to forgive Han for literally kidnapping Leia. Oof. Uncomfortable to read and think in depth about the actions of the characters and how obviously wrong it is for some actions to be made. But outside of that maze of problematic behavior and female empowerment, the book is full of great set pieces and action. Luke also has some of the best dialogue he has had so far, as I've read through the chronology of his post-ROTJ Legends journey. The way he talks about the Force to Iceholder is often beautiful and inspiring. It's a very fun book that unfortunately is a product of its time and hasn't aged all that well, which in hindsight shows how far we've come in so short a time on issues of consent and male-female dynamics and relationships. A wry, interesting read that I'd love to see a feminist scholar dissect in some sort of article or essay.
Wow. Yeah.
I want to read this book.
I know.
Too.
This review came in and I was like, you know what? That would be interesting. I do want to like expand my own personal scope of modern people that know a lot more than me about a lot of issues, going back to some old Star Wars to be like, cool, what can we take from this? What can we learn from it? And I think I made a great point that like, I think we take for granted sometimes how quickly writers have kind of like turned Star Wars on its head in terms of those kind of more problematic issues, which makes some of the older novels odd. Whereas like, it's weird now to read a novel without like a female lead or like without any queer characters. Like it's just normalized now, especially with High Republic stuff. But that doesn't mean that we can't go back to these books and still get some really great stories and some interesting things about it. So really great review, Lando. Love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, thought a lot about that one, clearly, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wesley,
Yes.
will you please read the third and final review?
All right. Our third and final review is by Moonflyer, and they read Bloodline by Claudia Gray. 5 stars. And this person says, wow, great setup for The Force Awakens. This is another book that I need to read as well. I borrowed a free audiobook of this novel from the library to listen to during my daily commute, and wow, was it an awesome surprise. I knew the basic premise, but I love the way the story was built around Leia being the central figure without much Han and no Luke. The book introduces a bunch of new supporting characters and villains, and I was surprised at how much I ended up enjoying not just the Leia parts of it, but also all these new characters. But I think what the story really brings is some background and depth that really set up the stage for The Force Awakens. We get the basics from the film, but what Bloodline reveals is the New Republic politics and shadowy dealings that fund the rise of the First Order. This book is so good, I recommend everyone read this one. Definitely deserving of a top 5 slot on the Utini reading order. Well, that is high praise. And
I will echo that to the day's end.
And I have a question. Was Bloodline out before the movie came, before The Force Awakens? After?
What a great question. Let's look.
Let's look at the website.
Yeah, you know what
It
could
was
help us.
One of the wasn't it a Road to the Force Awakens?
It was a Journey to the Force Awakens.
Or
Yes.
Journey to the Force Awakens.
Mhm.
Okay. So
I'm literally looking up on our site right now because we should have a published date. See, I used the site just as normal.
Someone
Released
in the comments is going to beat us to it.
May 3rd, 2016. So this is after Force Awakens.
Okay.
Had come out. But yeah, it is a journey to. This book is one of the first canon books I read as well. And I agree with everything Moonflyer says. Just really great at setting up the political dynamics. Ransom Casturfo is one of the best just OG book characters. And if you want some great Leia being Leia, like you get awesome, like you can hear like Carrie Fisher's like voice as Claudia Gray writes it. She does such a great job at capturing that kind of old General Leia. It's great.
Yeah, so
I want to reread it.
Ransom Casturfo was the name that just eluded me as I read another book that was Journey to a different series of movies or different movies.
I know
so.
the one.
I see what you did there.
I'm getting better at this, guys. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, folks, if you want to review another book that Wes hasn't read, head over to utini.com, look up your book and its complete book profile. Scroll down to the bottom of the page where you'll see a bunch of user reviews or maybe no user reviews. Maybe you're the first. You can leave a 1 to 5 star score and a little bit of a description, and we might read it on the show. All right, we're going to take a really quick break here to show you some of that lovely Utini merch that you can go grab. And then we're going to come back and talk about our personal history as well as the general history of Star Wars toys. Be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back. Also, guys, I gotta say, it just got a little steamy in here because we got our very own Brian from Pink Milk just joined the chat. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Brian?
So glad to
Friend.
see you. And everyone else, because y'all, it's time to talk about one of my favorite things in Star Wars. It's toys. It's very simple. It's toys. We love toys. And before we get started on our conversation, I got to give a shout out to our very own Star Wars Archives pod, which just did a great show about this. Trevor and Jose talked about the history of Star Wars toys, much more in depth than we're going to get here tonight. Tonight is more of a celebration. Oh, go, Tim.
And
Go.
the legendary Frank was on that podcast as well, making his first Utini podcast appearance.
Frank made
not
an
counting
appearance.
not counting the drunk Christmas parties as he makes sure to mention.
If you have not heard the magnificent lilt of Frank's voice,
That's such a great word.
you need to listen. And also, you have the whole timeline there, basically. Frank and Trevor, the guardians of everything that keeps our database going. Huge shout out to them. That's on our Patreon feed. Again, that's a 3-month delay. It'll be available everywhere. But they talked about Star Wars toys, so great job for them. Boys, to start out, I want to go, before we get into the general thing, basic question. What was your first Star Wars toy? Charles, do you remember?
I
did
don't
not put this
know
in the
for
outline. I'll say it.
certain. No, yeah, it wasn't in the outline. I don't know for certain. I have some pictures later where it's definitely one of the things that's there. Probably it was one of the like mid to late 90s original trilogy style toys, because I was big on the original trilogy VHSs, and I have home videos. I actually tried to find that for tonight. I have an old home video I made, my own Star Wars movie with all my action figures.
Oh, man.
And I know a lot
What?
of them were, yeah, I'll see if I can find it and I'll bring it to the show another night. But
Patreon reward. Patreon reward. We got to monetize that. Oh, my God.
yeah. And I think it's like, it was probably Power of the Force figures. You know, I'm sure my earliest ones were probably some of the heroes. Yeah, the ones, exactly. Eric is puffing himself up like the Michelin Man, because Power of the Force toys were built like Mark McGuire in 1998. So they were all setting a home run record for a single season.
Absolutely. Just Leia could have crushed 85 homers in a season, and that it doesn't even matter, man. All right, great. Tim, what about you? Do you remember?
I do not, but I do remember one of the first things that I had, at the very least, was the original trilogy Monopoly. And it had like the pewter characters that, I mean, like, you did not bend them. You put them away as soon as you were done. You didn't want to ruin it, bend the lightsaber, nothing like that. But it was one of the coolest things. I just thought it was great that there was like paper money, like the Monopoly money, obviously, but it had like Arabesh on it. That's one of the first things I remember.
Love that. Wes?
I actually didn't have it. It was my sister's.
Yeah, you stole it.
Yeah,
Right.
And this is what I added on to Star Wars Archives. So I made a little cameo on there. I had one of the original Ewok stuffed toys, which was Wicket, and it wasn't my favorite toy, but it was my first toy. It wasn't my favorite toy because there was like a little bit of dried milk kind of on the back of it, or dried food or something, and it was always there, and I always remember that. I was just like, ooh, this is the one that has that stuff on it. And I was like, ugh. But there's a picture of it, part of it. This is what it was. It was this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And it was on the
Man.
back. It was on the back of the head. So I still remember to this
Man.
day. I'm sure it's long gone
Wow.
now, but yeah, that was my first toy. That used to be my sister's, but is now mine.
Well, that is awesome. I'm gonna Blind Fates in the chat just put up part one of what I was gonna say. The Star Wars Taco Bell toys. I had a ton of those. I remember the Boba Fett that was like flying and you could like spin on like a gyroscope thing. And then what I meant to bring up from it, they're literally in our storage unit right now. I meant to bring these up today. I had the play sets. There was a Hoth play set that you could like fold out, and then it was like Echo Base. And then there was also I had the Return of the Jedi play set that had like the figures that were like, maybe an inch tall, if that. And they had a Sarlacc pit that you could press a thing and it would go ara 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 ara. And then there was an Endor one where you could make a lot, like it was a tri play set things. And gosh, I don't know how I didn't choke on all these little things. There were so many little pieces.
Is this the
Yeah,
Boba
those are
Fett
the
thing
Taco
right
Bell
there?
toys. Oh my god.
gosh. That's so epic.
Oh my
Let me see if I can
god.
get a bigger picture of it.
Yes. Oh my god,
Oh,
that was
it's just a
exactly
video.
it. Those are exactly the ones.
Well, and in the Star Wars Archives episode, they talked about the repurposing of other brands of toys that they use for Star Wars.
Mhm.
That feels very
That's
much like a
great.
Superman mold that they just turned into Boba Fett.
Oh, they put a new coat of paint on that, no question. So that's how we started, but that's not obviously how Star Wars started, right? So Wes, let's throw up a picture of what we all started at. So
right.
back in the day, right? George Lucas was like, I'm making this movie, and there's gonna be a lot of characters, but what I gotta do is I gotta make toys because they're for kids, and that's how I build an empire. And he did. And what they did, they got the original Kenner toys. Now, these original ones, there was over 100 action figures that were released from 1978 to 85. They all had this very similar, like, pretty simplistic mold, right? It was you had the lightsabers were like weird telescopic things. They had maybe 2 colors at most. A lot of vinyl capes, right? Like, I remember, like, I was a little older getting back into Star Wars, and I went back and looked at these things, and I'm like, these were the most popular things in the world. Like, knowing Black Series nowadays, what do you guys think about these original designs? Like, do you still have nostalgia for these, even though we may not have owned them at the time because we were too young? Or, like, do they just seem kind of dated now? Also, Brian says still has those. Respect. Massive respect.
I love these toys. I've always wanted to remake the cantina scene with all of the 3 3/4 inch figures.
Oh, what a
and
dream.
have that
Oh, man.
just have that displayed in the living room, like where people need to see it. But I
Yes,
mean, I
light
haven't gotten
light
around
it
to
well, too. Yeah, you can do it.
It's a Star
And
Wars nativity scene.
Yeah, and always
Yeah.
always have either Max Rebo playing, because I'll have both the both the Return of the Jedi part where we go to Jabba's palace and the cantina scene, because I have unlimited amounts of money like Charles.
That's right. Well, so other than the glorious holiday display that Wes is going to have, Charles, Tim, how do you guys feel about these guys?
I mean, they're just
Still zoom.
perfect. I mean, honestly, I mean, if I
Yes.
could have these right now, I would. And I'm not honestly up front even a big toy collector. Like, we'll go through the things that I have, but I would be so stoked to have these because they really are just like a remnant of their time. Like, I feel you
Yeah.
could hold one of these and you are in 19. I guess these came out in probably 78, not 77, but you are right back in that year. And yeah, I would love to have at least one of these.
So this is the Emperor with the hunchback, just in case anybody was wondering.
Number 27.
I love
27.
Vader is wearing, like, his cape there. Is that number 39?
Yeah.
It looks like he's wearing the Macklemore fur coat from Thrift Shop.
Yes.
pop some tags. Only got $20.
Yeah, I love that. I get that parody album. My favorite thing about these, if I could ask for the camera 1 second, Wes. My favorite story about these, that a lot of you probably already know, is the Snaggletooth story. So you talked about the Cantina people, Wes, right?
Mhm.
All these weird monsters, those were the toys. Those were the things, and they named them Goat Man and Yak Face and all these ridiculous things, right? The Snaggletooth was one of the beings, and they first came out with this like pretty big, like 3 3/4 inch figure in blue, and then the movie came out, and he was really short in red, so they immediately canceled it. And so the blue Snaggletooth, if you all look online for these original toys, goes for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Why I bring this up selfishly is because right before we started this show, I came out to my desk to set up because I'm prompt and I'm responsible, and I found these on my desk out of nowhere, which for our audio listeners are the red and blue Snaggletooth Funko Pops. Because my partner Charlie is an enabler, and she buys me a lot of Funkos, and she hides them in our apartment for holidays. And she was like, "Oh, you're doing a toy episode here?" And fun fact about the red and blue Snaggletooth Funko Pops is when they released these, they did the red ones but for every 5th Funko, they released a blue one.
Oh,
So they kind of did an homage to that release model by putting them in Funko Pops. So that's the kind of stuff I love about Star Wars toy collecting still, is that there is so much reverence for the history of the toys that they'll do dumb stuff like that. And you know what? I or my loving partner will absolutely buy it.
and just verifying what you said. This is the blue snaggletooth on eBay.
oh my.
Wes,
Sweet
can you read that price right now
The
for our audio listeners?
1978 Kenner Star Wars blue snaggletooth with toe dent CAS 85 Sears exclusive. Get ready, US $1,199.99. Buy it now. Why not?
Holy
Live on the
Bail
show.
Organa.
I'm glad that specified with the toe dent because I was worried.
Yes. Without that, it's only worth like, $800 or something.
Oh
but
my gosh, that's amazing.
so we started there, right? We started with all these figures. Over the years, guys, last I checked, I don't remember what source this was, there have been over 300 million Star Wars action figures like produced, sold. Awesome. We got everything from action figures, ships, Lego, lightsabers, Funko, right? We've had these giant evolutions. We've gone from those Kenner dolls, which are like
Actually,
awesome. We love them. Not the most realistic in the world. To Black Series models where there's digital scans of the faces and people will complain if the movie accuracy of the figure is off. That's where we are now. So I want to ask you guys philosophically, right? We went from things like, here, I'll show, this is my Slave 1 from when I was a child that I still have, which if you hit a little thing, the cargo bay door opens, and there's a little Han Solo inside that you can take out and stuff. It's great.
Cool.
But we went from stuff like this that were clearly meant for like kids' toys, right? For holidays or whatever, to now pre-orders for Black Series for Funkos are like internet events. You have to set a time. Our Slack channels go crazy whenever there are drops with tagging because you got to make sure you order them. And just philosophically for you guys, is this a good evolution? Like, does it make sense? We want to get the merchandise. We're all older now. We grew up. Or do you think this should still be aimed at a younger audience?
No, I think these should definitely be pushed for kids, adults, for everyone, for everybody.
Okay.
Because as a businessman, as a busy businessman,
A man of business, right?
You want to market to as many people as possible, and that
Right.
being adults and children. So, plus, I mean, I also don't think they should go away from the 3 3/4 inch figures, and I don't think they have, because you're going to catch the nostalgia factor from the older folk that have seen Star Wars for the very first time in theaters, 4, 5, and 6, and then you can catch the people that are looking for more intricate, much like the Black Series figures. And this is my Cad Bane right here. This is the first one that I bought, and I had to find me a Cad Bane. And
His
he's got
pants are
both of
wrinkled.
his guns. Yeah,
like,
look at that.
accurately.
That's insane. And his hat, I mean, his hat comes off, everyone.
Boo! I did not expect that for some reason. That
Yeah.
threw me.
And they make separate stands for them, and then Etsy makes even more intricate stands for your Black Series figures. So I think the more the merrier. I think it's great. I think it's just go full out Kiss with the with the marketing.
I think
Alright.
I think these toys more than probably any other Star Wars merchandise do kind of connect you to that inner kid once again.
Yeah,
You know
sure.
what I mean? Like that what I don't know, birthday, holiday, whatever it is, like opening up a Star Wars figure or like going to the store with your caretaker and finding a Star Wars toy and getting it down off the pegs. Like that is a straight up magical moment as a kid. So like philosophically, I think that's what it's doing. And I think it's great that adults can still kind of have that experience and connect to that now. And I'm really stoked that kids have that opportunity still today. Like Star Wars could have not taken off, guys. Could have not made it.
Absolutely.
But it's still here. It still has like its whole own aisle in most, big box stores. It's incredible.
Yeah, it could have crashed and burned like Star Trek. So good for a
Ooh.
Yeah,
shots fired.
I mean, phasers fired or something like that.
Phasers set
something.
to none. Am I right?
Beam us up, Scotty.
No, it's great because I mean it keeps the fandom alive in some way, shape, or form. I mean, you can't always, especially as an adult, you might not have 3 hours to sit down and watch a film, but you sure as heck can rearrange your Funko 7 different ways from Sunday to reenact all of those scenes that you know by heart already, and that's so cool.
Yeah, well, and I think it's fun too now that we have had this evolution of stuff because you still get the basic sabers. Like Tim, you brought out your saber earlier. I have my saber from when I was a kid. Now Charles, you'll love this. This is whose hilt is this?
This is Obi's hilt.
Yep, this is Obi-Wan's hilt.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I got this when I was a child, right around the time Attack of the Clones came out. And what color is that blade?
It's got a purple blade.
It's purple because no one cared, and that was like that was the moment. And it's like, this is one of my favorite things I own because this would never get made now. This is not correct. This is a purple blade on an Obi-Wan thing. It's fine, and I love it. But also, we can still have things now like this, which is my Galaxy's Edge Skywalker Reforged saber. And like, this is way more money than this. And me, well, depending, right? But me as a child could love this, and me as an adult can love the collecting value of this. And I think the brilliance of Star Wars toys now is that they're all still toys, but now you can have, like you're saying, Wes, you can have all those different audiences. The adults can get the Black Series that maybe you don't take out of the box, or maybe you buy the Etsy stand and you put them up, and the kids will be like, I'm going to tear it open and I'm going to lose the hat of Cad Bane because that's Blue Man. And that's what Blue Man goes and meets Stick Girl, or like, you know, and I think that's really fun.
Literally, I paid $30 just to get this Stormtrooper Lego. That's it.
Yeah, look at that minifig.
Man.
I did not want the AT-AT or the Chicken Walker, whatever it was that came with it. I just wanted this. And I don't even know what happened to the rest of the set. I think I threw it away or something. I don't know.
You got it.
But I got it. Yeah, and it's cool that we can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now let's do what I was really excited for about this show. Let's go around and talk about some of our favorite toys. And in the chat, we've seen all kinds of people talking about some toys that they're getting. Throw some of either your most recent toys or your favorite toys in the chat. Let's just kind of geek out for a little bit together. Let's have a good night about it. So, I believe we have a lot of pictures we want to go through. Is that right, Wes?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's go through a couple. We'll describe them to our audio listeners. And if it's your toy, shout it out. And then I got some physical ones I want to show here at the end.
All right, this is me. So I was a prequel baby, as one would be, being my age. And so what is on screen now is an N1 Naboo starfighter and a Trade Federation battle droid ship, but this is a laser tag set.
Oh my God!
They're
what?
on like joysticks, and they have
90s
triggers
thing
underneath
ever.
them.
So
And,
90s.
When my brother and I, after we were done rewatching episodes of Nickelodeon Guts, and jumping all over the
Oh
furniture.
my God, Aggro Crag, where you at?
Yep,
Do
right?
you have it?
We would take these things and run all over the house, just trying to pew pew. They came with the sound effects, and like it had to be like direct line of sight. There's a little red knob towards the top
Oh
of
yeah,
the
no.
trigger, and
you
you
had
gotta
to.
click it. Yeah, and then you're like shut down for like 10 seconds. And my brother always won, and I was always so upset about it, and I don't know why, but it was a blast, straight up 90s. And that N1 Naboo starfighter, man, that is the most beautiful ship in Star Wars. Fight me.
I know, I agree. Tim, be honest with us. Did you ever use the TV remote as a second gun? Because you could use that infrared.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, man. You could use a TV remote for a laser tag.
Dude, you were 20 years too late on telling me this.
It doesn't have to be too late, Tim.
It doesn't. Shout out to
right.
Brian in the chat saying the Galaxy of Adventures Boba Fett. The Galaxy of Adventures toys are rad because they look exactly like the show. Love those. All right, what do we got next? What is this?
Yeah, so this one is also me. So I think this is a 1995 Millennium Falcon. I'm not sure if it's Kenner. I couldn't tell you. But anyways, it opens up like a waffle maker. So whenever it's closed, you can see the full Millennium Falcon. But whenever you open it up, there's like a little Jaric table. There's a little blaster. The top turret has 2 little orange dots that shoot you. And every
Tim,
time it
there's a
opens up,
full Y-wing in there.
Yeah, there's a baby, a little baby Y-wing in there. They they came with these little like thimble sized characters that you were supposed to be able to like stuff into the cockpit and everything. They've got little trap doors because of course you got to smuggle yourself sometimes. That's why I put
sure.
my $5 and $10 bill allowances. And then occasionally my Hot Wheels cars. And yeah, it's really cool. I've never seen anything like it. And it took me forever to find it online. And I really want to get it again now.
Jacob had it in the chat. Look at that.
Yes.
Yeah, this is totally retro 90s. Just like, I mean, the manila color on the
the best part though, the best part is that the back end where the engine or whatever, the hyperdrive blasts off, whatever, it's got a handle on it. So you can close the waffle maker and then take it to your friend's house with everything still intact, and you don't have to worry about getting a bag or anything like that. It's so cool.
I love this. This is wow. And like even like I can feel what that plastic looks like just looking at that.
Yep.
That looks incredible. Also, going back to the chat here, we got a ton of responses, which is great. Be Nasty has the 10-inch Babu Frick that I'm not quite drunk enough to buy yet, but we'll see someday. 10-inch Babu Funko, which, as Brian says, is taller than life size. And oh man, okay, Endar gets into those Star Wars fig pins. I have avoided them, but I keep seeing them at Target. I am very, very tempted because they look incredible. Oh, and let's see. D. Nizamov says, I've been gifting all my unopened episode 1 figures to my son. He loves them, and he opens them and plays with them. That's great.
That's
so cool.
That's probably fun to watch, just opening figures
Yeah.
like that, man.
And I'm glad, and also just a side note, I'm glad you let him open them, because I know some people, like, I don't know, I'm an out-of-box collector, so toys are meant to be played with. All right, what do we got on the screen now? Who is this?
All right, this is also me. I think
Tim, my God.
I know. I'm sorry. These are Power of the Force action figures. My favorites on this list, you got R2-D2 down in the bottom left. His little middle leg, always like it was adjustable, so it could come out if you wanted to wheel him, or you could stick it up and he would just kind of stand there. But the best part was the capes that these things came with.
Yeah, these are
and like you just detach them and throw them on people. Yeah, it's fantastic. They came with little blasters and lightsabers and jetpacks. I think Boba came with a jetpack. But yeah, it's just a wall of Power of the Force. I used to run these things over with my Hot Wheels all the time. Darth Vader was thick. He was like the heaviest of them all, and I could never knock him down.
Dude, look at those pecs on that stormtrooper in the second row. That's so distracting to me. Like, dude never skips the bench press.
Greedo's got a wide stance. Look how wide that stance is by Greedo.
Yep. And when I was going back and looking, Han has like, I think that's Han anyways, has like these orange accents on his vest.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't seen that on any other Han characters before.
I don't think that's very movie accurate.
It could be worth $1,199. You never know.
Probably.
My God. And that Luke chest with that deep plunging V-neck. It's like, are you a little thick for a stormtrooper, my guy? Like, my goodness.
Yep. And Greedo looking at that seafoam green outfit that he is. Perfect.
Well done.
Right. Thank you.
Love those. All right, what do we got next?
Okay, this is one of my photos, and probably the next few kind of all go together because this was my second wave of getting into Star Wars toys. So I had all the ones when I was a young kid, right? I had Power of the Force series, all those things. And then when the Clone Wars came out, I just happened to be in the store one day and I saw one of these and I just loved the animation style. And it was so cool to see it in little 3 3/4 inch plastic hanging right there. And so I got one and then I was like, oh, this one's pretty cool. I'm going to get another one. And lo and behold, pretty soon, half of my bookshelf was just Clone Wars 3 3/4 inch figures that I had.
Yeah, buddy.
Up. So Wes, you can even kind of scroll through the next few pictures maybe, but you can see
Shock T and Kit
favorites here.
Look at
Quinlan
Shock
Voss.
T is
all the way in the
Quinlan's back there. And I kept this up actually through even early Rebels. That's actually Kanan Jarrus that you can't quite make out in the middle in the very back. But I mean, these things were great.
They're great quality
and they got better
too.
and better. Very.
And Mace
very
Windu, your favorite character.
Mace is there. Check out Cody back there. The troopers were next level in this entire line of toys. Yeah, so you got Hondo over there with his Koikian monkey lizard on his head. Pre Vizsla back there. Embo's back there, who was one of my all-time favorites from the show. I mean, and of
It's
course, I should
Inquisitor.
mention Cad Bane is front and center. And I guess, is this the exact figure you had, Wes, or is this something different?
No,
It's
his
something
pants aren't
different.
as wrinkly as Wes's.
Yeah, these
Mine
are
is
not
the
as
Black
wrinkly, that's
Series.
true. Oh, okay. Yours is the nicer version. But I will say my 3 3/4 inch came with Toto down there.
Yeah, it
There's
did.
Toto at his knee. So yeah, I loved these. I still have them. Oh, yeah, and these are important. So they all came with these cards. Okay. They all came with the card and some dice. And there was an actual game that you could play with these figures, like you could battle them based on it. So there's a stack of some of my cards and shows you, Kit Fisto's stats and all that stuff. And just adding that layer to it was a lot of fun. I never actually fought anybody with them, but I could have.
Not the best at repairing
Dude,
ships, apparently.
We are gonna straight up when we finally hang out in person after all these years, we're gonna come to wherever you are. You need to get all these figures, all these cards, and we're gonna make a drinking game out of Clone Wars dice battles. It'd be the best night of my life.
I am there for it.
Wow.
Okay.
Whose are these?
All right. This is still
Here's
me.
this one on
I
the
think
guest
these are-
bed.
Yeah, exactly. So these are some of my old things as well. Like these are from when I was a kid, but they're some of my like bigger toys, some of the like bigger pieces that I had. Some of them feel quite random. Like, why did I end up with a Ronto on the right? I don't know, but I'm so happy that I have it. So you've got a Ronto there on the right, which is one of the Tatooine beasts. Looks kind of like a dinosaur if you're not familiar with it. You got the snow speeder there that was the perfect size for the 3 3/4 inch figures. So they fit perfectly in that cockpit. You got Luke's speeder over there on the left. You got some speeder bikes. The grossest Jabba ever. Okay.
Wait. The second grossest, the first
Yeah.
grossest Jabba is that mug that Frank has now.
For sure.
That's true.
That's the grossest
That's
Jabba.
true.
It looks
This
like somebody
Jabba-
poked his eyes out.
Yeah, well, this Jabba, his eyes, I should have taken a close-up picture. They're really creepy. They're like cat eyes. And if you turned his tail to the left and right, if you like moved it back and forth, his upper body waddled left and right. Like
Oh my,
he was
no!
That's
That's so disturbing.
No!
Yeah, it was incredible.
Oh my
Why does
goodness.
he
like
look
the
like
chicken
he
dance.
why does he look like he just walked out of The Grudge or something? He looks horrifying.
He does.
That's what I also respect about the old school kids' toys. They didn't care if they were horrifying or with scars for life. They're like, no, it's the movie. This is how it looks. Like, they gotta be pretty now. It's like, no. We want vile, disgusting slime monsters.
Okay, all right. This
Tell
is my
me.
next picture.
Yeah, isn't this your razor? Your lady's razor, Charles?
Listen, this is what y'all see on the screen here is not Gillette, the best a man can get. It is the Star
Lady
Wars
Gillette.
Comtech. This is something that came out with the prequel toys. I think the earliest it would have been with the Phantom Menace
Yep.
toys, because this is what a lot of these are from. And every figure came with this little plastic piece with a little chip in it. And you can see a ring of them that I have on the left side. If you then took these chips and you put them over that little red dot at the bottom of the Comtech, it would read out a few different lines from that character in the movies. And Wes, switch to me real quick. Switch the camera to me.
Yes.
Because
yes.
I didn't bring any toys back with me, but I brought my Comtech.
Oh,
that's
that's a lot
big.
bigger
Wait,
than
that
I
is so
thought.
big.
It's huge.
Whoa!
It's huge, right?
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
It's like, I'm going to hold it up. It's like almost the size of my head. And I brought all these chips, and I got a fresh 9-volt battery. And
Oh
I
my
put it
god.
in.
Oh
I
my
don't know-
god.
I don't
This
know
is
if we'll
great.
be able to hear this honestly through the mic, but we're going to try real quick. I'm going to fire this up for the first time probably since 2005. I don't know. All right. It powered
Okay.
on.
We
All
got a
right.
boop.
Who should I try out here?
I mean, Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah,
you gotta.
you have to.
Yeah.
You have to do Obi-Wan.
All right, let me find Obi-Wan. It
Looks
might
like
take
a-
a minute.
It's like a
It looks like
charm
he's
bracelet.
a janitor.
Yeah, they didn't come on this cool chain. Okay, guys, that was all me.
You had your own chain?
That was all me. I don't think I wore these around my neck, but I wouldn't put it past me. All right, here goes Obi-Wan. I found his chip. I don't know if we'll hear it or not, but we'll try. Ready?
Yep. Oh my
Can you
god.
hear it?
It
We heard
worked.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, hold on. So it's playing one of his lightsaber battles.
Yep.
The council have granted me permission to train you.
That's not Ewan McGregor.
Wow.
No, it is. It
Wait,
is.
it
But
is?
this was 1999. This technology is not very good. Okay?
It sounded more like
no.
Anakin.
It is all legit lines though from
Wow.
the movies. And
That's
I had
cool.
so much fun with these. I
What a
use these all the
gift.
time.
Way to go, Charles. Now we're gonna get demonetized.
Oh, yeah, we probably will. No, they won't recognize those lines. It's okay.
That's
Totally.
that is so cool, and that's what I love about these old school things too. It's like Nokia phones.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? They still work.
Mm-hmm.
New battery, I don't care. An iPhone from 2 years ago is gonna break, but this freaking toy from 1999 is like, I got it. I can
Different
work.
time. It was a
All right,
different
what's
time.
next? Oh
All
my
right,
God, more
just-
thick boy Luke.
Yeah, just a close up of some of the Power of the Force figures I have. You can see I played with them enough that both of them have bald spots on the top of their heads. There's Luke on the right with his bent lightsaber, and there is Lando Pectoralis Calrissian on the left
Beef, my man.
with,
He is beef.
with his plug-in cape. He has got a full-on six-pack.
Wearing
I
an
love
extra
these.
small long sleeve tee, as far as I can tell.
Yes, I just
Mhm.
wanted to show these, but that's all there is to talk about with those. Now these
Tell us
are
about
Shadows
this
of the
Vader.
Empire specific toys. Okay, now spoiler alert: I have not actually read Shadows of the Empire, but as a kid, I clearly thought the figures looked awesome. That's
Right.
Chewie on the right, with all kinds of gadgets and things, and then on the left, this is a Darth Vader who I have researched because I was like, what is this cape, right? He came in a 2-pack with Shizor, and this is Shizor's little cape that I clearly lost Shizor and decided Vader looked better in this cape with the purple accenting.
Which he
So,
does. He looks great.
For sure.
The
yes,
good thing though
so
is that
I
I
love
have Shizor with the cape. Wes, if you want to throw it to me, and I can show
Well-
you what it should look like.
Tim,
Let's
if
see
you
it,
had,
let's see
if
it.
you had Shizor without the cape, I
Whoa!
would accuse you right now of something.
He is so creepy.
Oh my God, he's so
And it's got that
unsettling
sick pony too in the back. I mean, look at
for
that.
children.
And how
children.
cool is it
Children.
that there are action figures for basically a novel? I mean, I know it
Yeah,
was more
that's
than that,
right.
but like how?
Well, spoilers for
insane.
our final question of the night. That's awesome.
Whoops.
Well done, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, and now this is hopefully one of my last ones. I've been talking forever. I apologize. These
know,
I
man.
have a huge bin of these toys. Okay, I should have taken a picture of that. These are a couple I picked out that I was like, I had a lot of toys when I had figures for these people. There's an Ithorian on the left. There's a Yak Face. I have a Malakili, for God's sake. I have a
Malakili got an action
Shistavenin.
figure.
Yes, I have a Shistaven in there in the middle, the Wolfman.
Mm-hmm.
Got a Jawa, got the medical droid. Rick Oli, we've got
Hero.
R5, and then specifically Force Ghost Yoda. And I actually, now that I look at that, I think that is Anakin.
That's Anakin,
rather-
I think.
I
Yeah.
thought it was Obi-Wan at first. But yeah, they're just Force Ghost versions of them. So they're all one color, like blue glowy plastic. Why did I need that version? Because even all they did in the movies was stand there like they're doing. I don't know, but I had them.
God, yeah. No, I try not to give in to like the why don't we have X character toys? Because there's different reasons. But back in the day, they were just doing everything.
Oh, yeah.
Look at these: Wolfman, Yakman, Malakili, the shirtless Rancor herder. Like, bless him.
Yeah,
That's beautiful,
wonderful.
Charles. I love
Thank
that.
you.
We're not done, Charles.
Oh, all right. I think this is the last one. These are legitimate cake toppers from my 5-year-old birthday cake that I still have to this day.
Wow.
So on the left is Vader, on the right is Luke. They're just
Wow.
crappy little plastic figures, but they have little flat things on their feet for where they would balance on the cake. And their sabers have both since broken off, but for
Oh,
some reason I could never get rid of these.
Um,
and I'm really-
Excuse me, Charles. This is not movie accurate. Luke should have a
Yeah,
gloved
yeah.
hand, because he has lost his hand in Return of the Jedi. So I'm sorry to say you
It's
started
true.
your 5th year of this life with a lie.
I thought maybe
Yes,
you'd
I
put
sit
the
on a throne of
candles in the
lies.
sabers.
Oh, that's better.
No,
That's
that
what
would
you
have
should've
probably been cooler, but the wax would have dripped right onto the cake. So
All
that's
right.
not even functional.
All right, Charles, can you please use these for every birthday you have going forward for the rest of your life?
If I'm ever with you guys for one of my birthdays, I will pledge that right now. I will bring these for whatever cake we have.
Perfect.
Marvelous.
Good man.
Perfect. So those were y'all guys. Wes,
Right.
did you have some?
I have a couple, but mine
What do you
are
got, buddy?
fairly recent. So mine are I got a centerpiece here of a Black Series Vader, which is him.
Ooh.
It looks like pretty much Rogue One slash esque scene right here where he cuts through the door. So
Yeah.
I have this.
He's like power stance, too.
Yeah,
That's like
very-
full crotch
his-
forward Vader.
His cape, his cape right here is so intricately done. It's all nice plastic.
Like Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very
definitely
Batman. That's a great
Batman.
point.
So I still have the box too. So when I package it up and say that it's brand new on eBay, then don't say anything.
Hey, everyone listening and watching, be cool. Be cool.
One
Okay?
of my absolute favorites. That's not really a toy, and it came out just last year. Is this Empire Strikes Back lunchbox, like the old style tin
Yes.
lunchbox?
Lunchbox collecting is so fascinating to me.
And I knew that I wanted one for display, and I knew that I wanted one for like just to throw shit into. But so the front
Like lunch.
is Empire Strikes Back when they're in the Millennium Falcon, and that's Han and Leia and C-3PO and Chewie. And then on the side here we have the more characters from Empire Strikes Back. Vader prominently on there with Lando in the back. And on the opposite side we have Yoda and Luke with R2.
Wow.
I want to make that my wallpaper. That's
It's
gorgeous.
So cool.
This
and
is
then
so
Luke
cool.
on a Tauntaun.
That's
So-
a lot of artwork for
It's
one
in-
lunchbox.
For sure.
Incredibly
It's really
detailed.
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bought two. I have this one that I display, and the other one I have a bunch of my my nerdy mechanical keyboard parts in the other one. So,
Ooh, great question from the chat. Does that have a thermos?
It doesn't have a thermos, and I looked for it, and that's the thing that I was like, man, this would be a legit tin lunchbox if it had the thermos.
The
But
thermos.
It did not have the thermos.
Thermoses
which,
were
you know,
such a key part of culture, and they have all but disappeared now.
I know that's strange.
Kids don't just drink soup for lunch anymore, and I find that makes them weak. I'll say it.
Then my very last one outside of my Cad Bane is Captain Rex, right here. And
That's my boy.
I got
That's
him.
my boy!
This was
my
my
son.
second
Oh.
figure after Cad Bane, but I got him before I saw the price hike on this guy. So I've seen this
Yeah, dude.
get
Well
sold
done.
for like $50 or $60, and I got him for 20. So
Wow.
yeah,
Dang.
it's
Well
very intricate, done just like the other ones, and he has his little skirts here. It's great, and both
Yeah.
guns, and he stands upright. I mean, it's great. His helmet, the
detailing,
the
man.
detail on the helmet is great. So these are I don't usually buy like figurines or action figures or whatever, but I've turned over a new leaf. I like these. Black Series are cool.
And that's what's about starting as an adult is that, oh, I have money now.
Yeah.
I can get these things.
I mean, not to mention I have a helmet. So when these helmets came in,
Yeah.
I
Those are
have
awesome.
I have a friend at work that when he pre-orders stuff, he'd be like, "Hey, did you get yours?" And he's like, "Do you even have to ask?" And he like sends me a picture of him with his helmet on, and I was like, "Yeah, you're such a dork. I love it."
I love that. One of my best friends also, he's just got into a lot of the Black Series and stuff, and I always get the pictures. That's part of the fun of it, right? Like, because as a lot of you may know, I am a Funko almost purist. I get a lot of Star Wars Funkos. I will ask now as I talk a little bit in the chat. If you want to guess how many Star Wars Funkos I have, please put your guesses in the chat. I will tell you in a little bit. But I want to start off by just showing you all the first two Star Wars Funkos I ever got. Number one, right here, is our boy Poe Dameron from The Force Awakens. This is where they still had like the basic kind of dead shark eyes, where the molds were still pretty usual. And I got him on the same day. Yeah. With this guy, with Kylo Ren. Because I went to a Target at like midnight on the first Force Friday, before everything, and these are the first two I got, and I'm like, oh cool, I'll buy these two Funkos. This won't awaken anything in me. Yeah. Oh hey, there it is. There was an awakening, if you will. And then it did, and then I started collecting more and more. And I can't still explain to this day why I love the Funkos so much, but there's all displayed easily because they got the bases right. But I did just want to show real quick the two that I think I love the most in my collection, but it changes day by day. This one right here is a Queen Amidala, which is pretty hard to get, but there's a story behind this one. Because I'm an out-of-box collector, Charlie, my partner, is amazing at buying them. That she finds them for amazing deals everywhere. And she found this from this like hobby shop in Rhode Island. This guy was selling out of the box, no base Amidala for a really good price. And we got her, and then we bought a second Bib Fortuna, and that's the base. This is a Bib Fortuna base, which we tossed the second one because he's really creepy and his teeth are disturbing. So I love her. And then one that a lot of people on our team have started to get, it's this guy. It's the Thrawn.
He's perfect.
Grand Admiral Thrawn. I love this pop. I love him in Rebels. I love him in the new books. He was an exclusive to track down, and I just really love the posing, the detailing, and it brings back what we talked about with Shadows of the Empire, where like, even though he's technically a Rebels pop, it's the characters from books getting more respect and getting more, a little more merchandising, which has led me to now. We have a couple guesses that are way more in the chat than I have, and one that's under. I did a count today. As of now, I have 252 Star Wars Funkos, and I have 21 on pre-order because of Mando and all kinds of other things. So, very excited.
I wish it was 1,138. So you'd have to like
Ryan, I'm gonna try.
One day.
You have to
like
never get
sideways
another
walk
one.
through with your entire apartment.
Because I do still live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and most of these Funkos are all in this room I'm in, my living room. They're all on the bookshelves, and they're all around. There's a thing on my wall I look at right now where I put them on shelves and things.
I was gonna say, like, you're showing these off, and there's like at least 12 to 15 more in the background that I can find. That
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to show for the podcast.
Like an
It's
Easter egg
just,
hunt.
just there. But
But
can I take I'd like to take 1 second of your time, Eric. I want to show
Please
off
do.
my entire Funko collection right now.
Oh my
Ready?
God, yes!
This is the one Funko that I own. It is
It's
an
so
Obi-Wan with his hood up and his lightsaber ignited, and it's awesome. And shout out to Adam Dyson, who got this for me for one of our UTN holiday parties. It hasn't awakened something in me where I'm going to go be the next Eric, but I'm really, really pleased to have this one. So thank you, Adam.
Well, we gotta get you more Obi-Wans, man. In the chat, we asked, what do we think about the Bad Batch pops? I love the Bad Batch pops. I have mine are waiting on a Target pre-order, except I got Omega. Got her this week. I'm still waiting on Tick and Hunter and Ricker and Eka. So that's great. So those are a bunch of our favorite things, and I want to ask you guys, kind of as we kind of close out this night of just celebrating toys from our youth, toys from our present. Going forward, what are some of our most anticipated, either, I don't know, hypothetical toys we could get, if you're looking forward to any future purchases actively, or where do you think Star Wars toys go from here?
I think
many
we would all
questions.
agree with High Republic toys of any kind, right? Like
Yes.
whether it's Funkos, whether
I'll
it's
buy
the
Black
three-quarter-
Series. I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean Black Series, whatever it is, I think that feels like kind of one of the next steps for even further legitimizing this era and like cementing it in the legacy that is Star Wars. Like it's hard not to go right for that one.
So
Yeah.
one day when we all grow up and we have jobs, I think Sideshow Collectibles figures should be in all of our arsenals if the money does so choose to go into our pockets. My God, those things are so
Incredible.
awesome. I mean, if anybody doesn't know, the Sideshow Collectible toys they're more like statues, and they are roughly between $200 and $300.
Yeah, about
if that-
Wes. This is I have an Ahsoka and a Rex on pre-order right now. Don't
Oh
tell
my.
other people.
Holy
Oh
crap.
my.
Oh
But
my
Into
God.
these
because-
Put it in a
but-
safe.
But it's because I got a lot of sideshow codes and like reward points. But yeah, I definitely pre-ordered the season 7 Ahsoka and the season 7 Rex with like the 332nd helmet and everything.
Oh man, that is.
But
so
you're
awesome.
right, they're
so
incredible.
cool.
They're
Yeah.
mind-blowingly good.
I am going next week to Comic Palooza, which is a Comic-Con in Houston, and God help me if I bring my wallet. I think I'm only gonna bring cash, and I really like blowing it on Star Wars coasters because that's what I did this last time that I went. I got this coaster here, and I love this thing. Whoever made this,
beautiful.
they're just like homemade
Wow.
like arts and crafts that they have, it's all strewn about. But I love that thing. I can't wait to go back to that guy's table.
Yeah, and I guess we'll also say, like, we've talked a lot about the mainstream toys before, Tim. Like, there's so many independent creators making Star Wars things on Etsy and at craft shows and stuff. And if you can always try to support at PetSmart, as Tim shows off the cat toy Millennium Falcon that he got.
This was after visiting Eric and Charlie in Chicago. They had some Star Wars toys around, and my wife, who's not really into Star Wars, was like, you know what? I like these toys. I bet Bennett would like them too. And it is full of catnip. So he is most definitely on spice driving the Millennium Falcon, and it is not a great idea.
That is perfect.
But no, I'm excited for things like that. And then also the last thing that I'll show is the Sabacc cards from Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They came in a super sick box and everything, but I want to see more stuff like from the films that we've seen, like whether it's dice or it's card games, stuff like that. I'm excited that now that we have a real Star Wars to go to, right, that we can get some more of these things that we've seen in the films, and it puts us a little bit more in universe. And I think that's something that hasn't been done before.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. I got the Han Gold dice are in my that I got off of Wish, like for $2, and it took 4 months, but whatever. Those are on my review mirror. And Evan in the chat makes a great point that hopefully Sideshow will start accepting Mon Calamari flan, and then we'll be able to do that.
I'll have this Mon Calamari flan.
Yeah, and for those that have read The Rising Storm, no spoilers. Jacob says, "Give me a Gumby style Orbelin toy." That'd be
my gosh.
That'd be amazing. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna echo that. Any High Republic, anything, Black Series, Funko Pops, number one, obviously. Stellan's lightsaber making it into Galaxy's Edge, like things that further legitimize the things that we love in the books and comics, like those things showing up physically that we could hold, just would make our lives incredible. And I do, in all earnestness, hope that the High Republic event coming up next Friday is gonna maybe reveal a little more. Like I'm wearing my my Valo High Republic Fair shirt I got off Shop Disney today, and Shop Disney holding shirts about books is like such an incredible milestone. So I think that toys just make sense next. So
yeah. Can I change my answer?
Yes.
Because I don't want to share my answer with you, Eric. I want them to come out with something called More Power of the Force, and I want it to be a remakes of all the new characters we've had that are just absurdly yoked for absolutely no reason.
Can we have like Broom Boy, but he's just like massive pecs and he's like carrying 3 brooms?
Exactly.
Or like, and also we still got to get that slimy naked Palps figure. So let's not let that die. Legends Look Back killed it. We didn't.
18 and older only.
So to all of you listening and watching, number one, thank you for hanging out on this show. And number two, if you have toys you're collecting, we hope you love them. If you want to take them out of the box, go for it. If you want to display it, go for that too. If you haven't been in our Star Wars Collections Discord channel, a lot of times people like just to post pictures of stuff they get. And if you want some friends that are going to say, yo, that figure's amazing. Hey, I really like your setup. That's why we're here. We love this stuff. We will always love this stuff. We will buy toys when we're 6. We'll buy toys when we're 60. So hopefully we get way more. And again, to be uber capitalist about it, the more we buy, the more they'll make. So please, High Republic, please don't throw away your toys when you were a kid. You'll want them when you do a podcast when you're in your 20s and 30s. But on that, everyone, that is going to do it for this fun-filled, nostalgic episode of The Living Force. If you support us on Patreon, thank you so much for that. It helps make this show and everything at Utini go. And a special thank you goes out to Cheryl Bell, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander on our Jedi High Council, and Elizabeth Cloutier, Jason Mitchell, Freddie C., and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Eric Eilerson. Corey is at Dak Star Wars MD. Charles Zetzi Hankel. Wes is at Boss Wes. And Tim is at tguthrie13. I
Underscore
think. Underscore T Guthrie. I'll never get it. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire, who makes all the overlays you're seeing, and Wes, our producer and community manager and helmet wearer. Thank you to Charles, Tim, and Wes for podcasting with me tonight. Thanks to all of you in the chat for hanging out. And as always, may the force be with you.